coat of arms.
When I was in Africa, I was in Niger, Africa a few years ago as a sergeant major doing a counterterrorism operation. I was driving with my driver and there was a big crowd. And in that crowd, I told him to pull over because I want to see what's going on. There was a kid laying in the dirt. This kid was laying in dirt with two compound fractured legs. I looked at him and the Africans wouldn't let me close to him. I went back to the vehicle and I grabbed my, at the time, Patagonia. I grabbed the bag and I went up to him and I tried to get access and they wouldn't let me. They were gonna let him bleed out because they knew absolutely nothing about medical procedures or trauma. So I backed up and I talked to my driver. I said, hey, talk to him in French. See if you can get them to spread way and let me help. He talked to him and precious seconds are going by and they wouldn't let me in. I backed up and I said, hey, doctor, I'm a doctor. And they all looked at me like, doctor? Which is universal in most countries. Okay, let him in. And I gained access to him. I tried to put cat tourniquets on his legs and I actually applied one. But if you've ever been to Africa or talked, their legs are this big. And they also are not as vascular as we are. I mean, I got Pliny the Elder IPA running through my veins and I'm 99% water. You go to Africa, it's not the case. I couldn't even get a pulse off the kid. I thought he was dead at one point, but he was just very calm, very stoic. And I applied this to both of his legs. We couldn't convince them to let us take him, so we distracted him. I put him on a door that we confiscated, threw him in the back of my truck, and we took off. I took him to the embassy.
My name is Megan Finley and I am the Channel Activation Manager for retail at 511, which basically means I handle all retail marketing for all of our 60+ stores. We were fortunate enough to have Mike Glover and Fieldcraft Survival out here doing ABR Academy, which is our Always Be Ready Academy that we run at our 511 locations. It's a series of interactive and educational courses that we provide free to our customers.
My name is Mike Glover. I'm actually the CEO and owner of Fieldcraft Survival Incorporated out of Prescott, Arizona. I've been in the military really my entire adult life. 17 years old, went into the infantry, spent about 4 years in the infantry, segmented or segued myself into special operations. I started Fieldcraft Survival about 5 years ago. Our mission is to prepare citizens, law enforcement, and military in mindset, equipment, and most importantly, train you for the worst case scenario.
I mean, our mantra is always be ready, so we didn't want to just talk the talk, we wanted to walk the walk. So we launched the ABR Academy in 2018. So we have 60+ stores, so this academy is run every month across from West Coast to East Coast. To this point, we've done, I think, just about 600 courses.
That worst case scenario doesn't have to be a counterterrorism, bad guy type situation. It could be a natural disaster. What I'm going to give you in techniques and tactics is things that have worked for me and are a minimum requirement for being prepared. With channelized vascular wounding, you have to go as high as you can on the appendage or the extremity in order to stop the bleed. So in this case, one way is gonna work, the other way is not. But if you recognize the red tab, you can put it on correctly each time.
From his experience in the military and all the crazy stuff he's done, I think people really appreciated being able to hear all his stories and how the skill set and the education really has helped him out in the field, and they can utilize that in their own personal lives.
Modern survival is very different because you have to use not only primal instincts of survival, but you also have to be cognitive enough to make decisions. In 2009, unfortunately, I had a buddy of mine die in my arms, where he had crushed injuries in his legs and his femur, where he bled internally, and us not even realizing that he was bleeding. The reason that happened is because he broke his legs, they lacerated his femoral, and he bled into his colon, but nothing was apparent. So remember, the indication of bleeding isn't just exposure through a laceration, but also just maybe the trauma.
He's been really helpful in our product development as well. I think you guys saw the rear attachment that he created for vehicle loadout.
He was my team sergeant. His name was Stephen Walker Booth. He was 33 years old, sniper, Special Forces sniper, one of the best dudes I knew. He was riding with his wife on a Harley Davidson. a person pulled out in front of him, and he hit that person going about 50 miles an hour on his Harley. It killed his wife instantly, and he was alive on the ground for a period of time while I tried to treat him. I ran back to the vehicle and I went to grab my med kit. But Molly doesn't unattach easily. So I had to unzip the contents and access it and ran to him, dumping out all the contents on the ground, fishing through it. And remember, in traumatic situations, you have milliseconds. Think of it that way because time is critical. So I was like, you know what? What if I do something like, this is med, I run to my vehicle, I grab this, and I could rip it off and run to the casualty. Or I could have the Molly portion here. Or what if this rolled up like this was a panel, but when I unroll it and then tucked it up and zipped it up, it was just a go bag. Because remember, the capability in your truck, if not found creative ways to take it away from your truck, it's just a base of operations. Those events in life, again, figuratively and literally, that test our resilience, truly, whether that's trauma as a child or as an adult, truly test our will and truly tell us what kind of person we want to be or what kind of person we are.